many countries neighboring Syria are not coping with unable to cope with the influx of refugees coming from that country. Jordan now is threatening to close the borders and stop that inflow. How is the United Nations dealing with this situation? It's becoming beyond the means of all these countries.
Well, certainly that's something that is of great concern to the United Nations. That's why the heads of those 5 humanitarian agencies put out what is, after all, a very unusual joint appeal about their concerns. One, for the violence which continues, the carnage that continues, and 2, for their inability to be able to respond as they would like to be able to because of a number of reasons. One is access to the lack of funding, and 3, the fact that the fighting continues and that there doesn't appear to be the political will amongst those who do have influence to try to end that fighting. As for the flows of refugees, of course, those countries immediately bordering Syria have really had to open their doors and have done so willingly and have shown great generosity, whether it's through formal refugee camps or whether it's through the individual generosity of families in those countries. The United Nations, the Secretary General, has nothing but admiration for the way that those countries and individuals in those countries have responded to the plight of Syrian refugees. The fact of the matter is that each of those countries is certainly becoming overburdened because of the numbers, because of the continuing flow, and because of the lack of funds that they need. So it's certainly incumbent on the international community to provide the support that's necessary to try to help to the best extent possible those people who've had to flee their homes with little more than what they have on their backs and can carry. It's obviously an extremely difficult situation, and it's the fact that the heads of the 5 main UN humanitarian agencies have spoken out in this way, I think highlights the urgency that they see in needing to deal with this.
Well, these appeals are falling on deaf ears, as it looks, and many of these countries who they pledged to donate to the crisis are reluctant to do so, whereas they are very generous when it comes to weaponizing the conflict. Shouldn't the United States, the United Nations, be outspoken about naming and shaming those who are weaponizing the conflict there?
Look, we've said all along that the further militarization of the conflict is unhelpful. Pledges were certainly made in Kuwait City at that pledging conference. The pledges need to turn into cash, and that needs to happen as soon as possible. Thanks very much. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.